She told me, if another guy tries to impress me, why shouldn't I give him a chance? So I walked away in silence. Months later, she came back broken, and begging for another chance, but I wasn't interested anymore. My name is Noah. Ava and I had been together for 2 years, too long. Imperfect, yet deeply familiar years. We knew each other's rhythms, habits, and silences. We knew which friends needed late-night calls after a bad day and which restaurants would always have room for two. Through job layoffs, family drama, and financial stress, I thought we were strong enough to survive anything. I truly believed we were holding on. It all began on a rainy Thursday evening. The apartment smelled like coffee and shampoo. Ava was in the bathroom, the shower running, and I was sitting on the couch, half watching the raindrops trace lines across the window. Her phone buzzed beside me. Normally, I wouldn't have looked. I wasn't that kind of person. But the message preview caught my eye. It was from her friend, Maya. The text read, "So what if you're already with him? You deserve better, girl." My chest tightened. Curiosity overpowered restraint, and before I could stop myself, I opened the chat. Ava's reply made my heart drop. If someone reaches out, tries to impress me, what's wrong with giving him a chance? It's not like the old days. Every modern woman should do what's best for her future. I just sat there, staring at those words as they echoed in my mind. It wasn't just what she said. It was the casual way she made our relationship sound replaceable. Like I was a temporary convenience until something better came along. I had given her everything. My trust, my support, even helped pay her bills when she was struggling. And yet, to her, love seemed like a negotiation for a better future. When she finally stepped out of the bathroom, her hair wrapped in a towel, I asked calmly about the messages. She froze for a moment, then snapped, "You went through my phone?" She brushed it off, calling it girl talk, accusing me of being insecure and dramatic. Her voice wasn't angry, it was cold, detached, almost mocking. It wasn't a fight. There were no shouts, no cries, just a heavy silence that settled between us. The casual dismissal cut deeper than any argument could. So I did the only thing that made sense. I told her I needed space and walked out that night with nothing but my jacket, my wallet, and the weight of her words echoing in my chest. The phrase, "What's wrong with giving him a chance?" replayed in my head like a broken record. It wasn't about another man. It was about how little she valued what we had. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. She asked if I wanted to go shopping with her. When I said no, she rolled her eyes and asked me to transfer money for her purchases. That was when I realized. She expected me to fund a relationship I was no longer welcome in. I told her plainly, "I'm not paying for anything anymore." She blew up, calling me controlling, accusing me of invading her privacy, painting herself as the victim. I didn't argue. I simply said, "If there's nothing to hide, show me your phone." She refused, and that told me everything I needed to know. I packed a small bag, walked out of the apartment while she shouted that I'd regret it, and drove off into the night rain. There were no slammed doors, no dramatic goodbyes, just the quiet hum of the engine and the sound of raindrops against the windshield. For days afterward, I drove aimlessly through the old routes we used to take. Every corner of the city whispered her name. I wanted to text her, to ask why, to fix it somehow. But something inside me knew it was over. The ache was steady, like a dull throb that wouldn't go away. 3 weeks later, I heard through a friend that she was dating someone new, a wealthy older man. Then came the photos. Ava in a red dress, smiling on a rooftop bar with a champagne glass in hand, the caption reading "New Beginnings." I stared at that picture for a long time, not because I missed her, but because I finally understood what she meant when she talked about her future. She didn't want a partner. She wanted a lifestyle. A few weeks later, Maya messaged me. "Noah, you didn't hear this from me, but that new guy? He's not what he seems." I didn't ask for details. I just let the words sink in. Deep down, I knew. Ava had chased comfort and status, but at the cost of her peace. The night I left her apartment, I thought I'd lost everything. But standing there in the quiet hallway, bag in hand, I realized I had finally gained something more important, my self-respect. 2 weeks passed, then a month. Silence became my new normal. No calls, no messages, nothing. Maybe it was her pride, or maybe she was too busy living the better life she had chosen. I started to heal slowly. I went for long walks, cooked my own meals, and tried to rediscover who I was without her. The city still carried ghosts of us, the park where we fed ducks, the cafe with chipped coffee cups, the late-night street corner where we once promised forever. But with each day, those memories began to fade like old ink. Then one cold November night, there was a knock at my door. When I opened it, there she was, Ava. But she wasn't the same. Gone was the glamour, the confidence, the sparkle. Her hair was messy, her eyes were red, and her hands trembled as she clutched her purse. "Noah," she said softly, "can we talk?" I let her in. She sat on the couch, staring at the floor, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ryan isn't who I thought he was. He made me quit my job, controls my money, tracks my phone. I feel trapped." I stayed quiet. For a long moment, the only sound was the rain tapping against the window. Then she looked up at me, tears in her eyes. "I know I hurt you. I thought I wanted something better. I didn't realize I already had it." I took a deep breath. "Ava, when I loved you, you called me boring. Now that he's broken you, you call me safe. That's not love. That's regret." Her tears fell, but I didn't soften. "You can leave him, rebuild yourself, start over, but don't look to me for a do-over." She nodded slowly. "I understand." She left that night quietly. No yelling, no begging. Just the sound of the door closing. It felt like closure, but life wasn't done writing her consequences yet. Weeks later, Maya texted again. "Noah, Ryan ruined her. He maxed out her cards, took her savings, then kicked her out. She's back at her parents' house. No job, no money." I just sat there, staring at my phone. It wasn't satisfaction I felt, it was peace. A quiet realization that karma doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Months passed. I moved on. Life became simpler, calmer. I no longer checked her profiles or waited for updates. But one day, out of nowhere, I got a message. "Noah, it's Ava. Can we talk?" Just once. We met at the same diner we used to visit after late-night movies. She looked smaller somehow. Plain hoodie, no makeup, just a woman stripped of all pretense. She talked about how hard life had been, how she was trying to rebuild. "I miss us," she said quietly. "You were the only one who ever really cared." I watched her for a moment before answering. "You once said, if another guy tries to impress me, why shouldn't I give him a chance? You gave him that chance. And you lost everything that mattered." She nodded, her eyes wet. "I know. I'm sorry." When the bill came, she tried to pay for it with crumpled notes. It wasn't much, but it showed me how far she'd fallen. Still, I knew this wasn't about love, it was about regret. That was the last time we ever spoke. Months later, I heard through friends that she was trying to start a small jewelry business, posting about healing and independence. Her social media was full of quotes about growth, pain, and redemption. But to me, it all sounded like someone trying to convince herself she'd changed. One evening, I got a final message from her. 2 simple words. "I'm sorry." I read it twice, then deleted it. There was no anger, no bitterness, just a deep, quiet peace. Because I finally understood that some lessons aren't meant to be taught, they're meant to be lived. Ava wanted to explore her options, to chase the idea of something better. And she did, until life showed her what better truly costs. And me? I walked away with nothing but my dignity intact. And that turned out to be everything I needed. Sometimes karma doesn't need help, it just needs time. And when it comes, it doesn't shout. It simply whispers, "You lost the one who truly cared." Love doesn't need revenge. The best revenge is peace, growth, and never looking back. Like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories of karma and redemption.